Okay, so I'm sitting here with Esther Dyson. Hi, Esther.
Hi.
And I'm actually looking at the Kremlin in the background here. The sun's just going down, and we're sitting here in it's a Ritz-Carlton.
Yes.
We just arrived in Russia, and I was talking with Esther about the future of Russia and investment there, entrepreneurship. You've been active in Russia for quite some time.
22 years, something like that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement in Russia, what you've been doing?
Well, I first came because I speak Russian. I learned it in high school. And I ended up on the boards of a whole bunch of Russian IT companies, which are very different from oil companies. The people who started them didn't steal anything from the state. They didn't inherit anything. They built something with their own minds. So it's a completely different culture from your typical Russian oligarch.
And so now you're active in a few companies. You've made money, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you actually made money in Russian companies?
I made money the regular way, except for my very first investment here wasn't even an investment. I was friendly with Stepan Pachikov, who did the handwriting recognition for the Newton, and helped introduce him to Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. And so one day he said, "My lawyer's going to call you. He's going to ask you to sign some documents. Please say yes, because we're giving you 1% of the company." And they sold it a couple of years later to Silicon Graphics for $50 million. So my first investment in Russia had an infinite return. After that, things quieted down a bit, but I'm now on the board of Yandex, which has 60% market share in Russia compared to Google's 25 or so.
Right, so it's a Google clone, right?
No, actually it was started before Google. And
Right.
It began as basically a text mining program for the Bible. They put the Bible online and you could go search through it, and then they thought, we should search through some other stuff as well. But certainly it's in the same market position in
right.
Russia.
It doesn't have a whole lot of competitors, so it's doing really well.
Well, it's got Google and Rambler in Russia, but it's just the way Google in the U.S. In Russia, Yandex is the one to beat.
Right. So, and have you made money from that yet?
I did take some out to pay for my cosmonaut training.
2 years ago, was that?
That was October of 2008 to March of 2009.
So you've technically made money from two Russian companies.
Oh, I've made money for more than that. I've also sold DPI to Lanit.
Okay.
And I've also taken some cash out of another company called IBS. I've also had ones that flopped. Cybico was one.
Right. But you could be technically one of the most successful venture capitalists or investors in Russia, right?
In terms of
U.S.
percentage return, unfortunately not in terms of absolute return, because
right.
I mean, just all the people who put money into Yandex have done
right. And there's Russian
well.
Billionaires running around, clearly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People have invested in materials and resources.
But for a two-bit angel investor, I've done very well here.
Yeah, it's great. Now, so going forward, so we're here, meeting a bunch of executives on Thursday, but also before that, a number of government executives. And one of the questions is, what can Russia do to make entrepreneurship more successful? To give it deeper roots, to jumpstart the technology sector. Because Russia it's not one of its fortes. How would you characterize entrepreneurship in Russia now?
Well, someone asked me who should Medvedev, the president of Russia, meet when he goes to the U.S. And the obvious answers are Sergey Brin at Google, or he should go visit Stanford or MIT or look at Apple. But I think he should visit Libby Sartain, Oliver Ryan, Beth Axelrod, and Laszlo Bock. Do you know who those are?
Explain. No.
They're the HR people from Google, Twitter, ex-Yahoo, and eBay. And it's the people, stupid.
Right.
So what they need to do is motivate the people, respect the people. They need to lure some Russian diaspora back. And today I was telling you I saw this wonderful thing, which is a kiosk where you can pay your traffic fine. And it used to be it was either pay the fine and spend a day in traffic office, which it was a waste of time and a horrible place to be, or you just paid a bribe and it was all over. So it cost a lot. It cost a day, to be honest. And now it's basically free.
What's the name? So what's the name of the company that did that? Do you remember?
It's actually the government is now accepting them. So all there are these various payment kiosks. This particular one is Kiwi Pay,
right?
And that's a DST company that we may in fact meet with on Thursday.
Okay, and then you mentioned another company that allows what was the company that let you push to talk on a phone?
Yes.
Do you remember the name of that company?
That is Skip Innovative Systems.
It's another example of cool innovation happening.
Right. They do amazing technology here.
Right. Because they've got these smart people going through universities, but
a lot of the programmers here are PhDs and they're mathematicians, as opposed to just kind of journeyman coders. You need journeyman coders too, but it's one of the few things scientists could do here, and whereas in the U.S. they go do science or something.
So the one question is there an inflection point that's happening where Russia is going to come into its own as an entrepreneurship, world, leader, or more competitive than it has been in the past?
It's definitely going to be more competitive, and this trip is important. Not so much that these 20 people, wonderful as we are, but the fact that the Russian government now realizes they really want this, and they're beginning to realize that they can't get it by just pouring money in. They want not just these VCs money, but they want their people. They want them to invest and train people. So the first step to solving any problem is recognizing it, and they're recognizing it.
Right. Okay. All right, Esther, that's really good feedback, and I'll see you over the next couple of days. I'm looking forward to learning more about Russian entrepreneurship and how to make money too.